July 20th, 2000.
I didn't kick you! They're billed as the solution for violent prisoners.
Get up!
Electric stun weapons.
I'm not an animal, y'all.
And the so-called restraint chair.
So you don't hurt yourself like
They can be terribly efficient. They can be terribly controversial.
Spanish Inquisition technology was sort of a late 20th century advertising spin.
Don't fight, guys. Don't fight.
But for the inmates' behavior, they'd never be in this position in the first place.
Tonight, the chair. When does necessity cross the line to torture?
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Substituting for Ted Koppel and reporting from Washington, Michelle Martin.
Last week, we aired a program about that incident involving the Philadelphia police, who were filmed by a local television station as they subdued a carjacking suspect. Something like a dozen officers were shown punching and kicking the man who had, allegedly, stolen not just one car, but also a police car while he was trying to escape. He also was said to have stolen one officer's gun. Obviously, one of the questions on the table was whether the amount of force the police used was reasonable, even under those trying circumstances. A number of viewers emailed us to say they thought the police were abusive. But a roughly equal number also wrote in to say, in essence, get over it. If you do something wrong, especially something violent to the police, you should expect serious, even physical consequences. Now, some of the language used was rougher than that, but one can see their point, which is we expect the police to do a hard and dangerous job in our behalf. And at some point, they must be able to take steps to protect themselves. Certainly that's true. Still, we think it is important to continue to ask exactly what steps should the police take and under what circumstances, precisely because the police are acting in our behalf. Tonight, our subject is the devices used by some police and corrections departments to subdue violent prisoners. Some of the images are disturbing, both what the police have to put up with and what they do in response. But that is all the more reason why the subject deserves the careful consideration Nightline correspondent Dave Marish gives it in this report.
You can't twist it hard enough. You can't.
A corrections officer's nightmare. A prisoner out of control.
I'll kill you. I will kill you.
A very big, very strong prisoner. Apparently out of his mind on drugs or alcohol or some inner imbalance.
Get off my leg, man. Get off! Hey. You're a punk, man.
Over the past decade or so, a growing number of law enforcement and corrections departments have begun to utilize some new weapons for the old problem of bringing unruly prisoners under control. One of these is the stun gun, delivering up to 50,000 volts with each zap.
Don't fight, guys. Don't fight. Give me a lock.
This is another. The Restraint Chair, designed to hold the most violent prisoner at the wrist and ankle and across the shoulders, waist, and chest. Properly used, both restraint chairs and stun guns can be valuable law enforcement tools, but they can also become instruments of torture.